Hi guys, how do you do over Easter? Are you already reaching for those Cadbury's cream eggs? I used to be addicted to them. I used to eat one, two, or three every day from the moment they hit the shops. It would be like every time I went to the service station, the dairy, or the supermarket, one would end up in my hand. Do you know that each one of those is like nearly 200 calories, 6.5 grams of fat, and 6.5 teaspoons of sugar just for one? My mother hated them because she hated the goo and the fake yolk inside. She found it quite offensive, but I loved them. I was absolutely addicted to them. So, whether your weakness is cream eggs or hot cross buns, I have clients who are the same with hot cross buns. The minute they hit the shops, and let's face it, that's kind of shortly after Christmas, they're buying them under the pretense, I don't know, of hoarding them from Easter for grandkids or kids or family gatherings, but they know that the truth is they're going to eat them all. I have clients who, before we get anywhere near Easter, have eaten 5 or 6 bags of six hot cross buns. It's easy to let your habit brain run wild during Easter when all of this stuff is on the shelves, and it ends up just leading to regret, guilt, discomfort. Oh God, why did I do that again? Why do I do that every year? For me, the huge revelation was learning to, what I call an outlook, is to eat on purpose. So this Easter, for instance, I haven't had a hot cross bun yet. It was interesting. I was talking to some of my members this morning, and 2 of them had already had their hot cross buns. But I created in my head this new tradition where I only would eat a hot cross bun on Good Friday, because that's the day it's meant for, right? It's like eating pancakes on Shrove Tuesday. I would only eat an Easter egg. I would only eat a hot cross bun once a year on Good Friday. And when I used to eat butter, it had slathers of butter on it. It doesn't anymore, but I'll probably buy some Nuttalex or something like that to go on it, because I love them toasted with, spread on them, basically. I am going to enjoy 2 or 3 delicious hot cross buns, not from a packet from the supermarket, but made by the artisan French baker up the road. They're sourdough. They are just amazing. I've got them ordered. I'm going to take them with me up to see my daughter in Pukekohe, and I'm going to eat those as part of our family tradition. I'm also going to buy myself, I think, a Lindt Easter bunny. Kenny used to buy me, really expensive vegan Easter eggs, which are actually full of rubbish and emulsifiers. I'd rather just have a dark chocolate, maybe just a bar of dark chocolate, or possibly the dark chocolate bunny. Doesn't really matter. The thing to know is that one hot cross bun is only about 220, 250 calories. So it's just like a morning tea or afternoon tea. So if you eat them in moderation with your thinking brain, not let your habit brain take you into eating a whole packet, they're absolutely fine. One hollow dark chocolate Easter egg is going to be somewhere between, depending on the size, 220 calories and 500 calories. Like, this is a hollow egg that I've bought for my granddaughter. I think that the egg it's got little skittly things in it, is going to be about 500 calories for the whole lot. My tips for a guilt-free Easter really is to plan your treats in advance. Don't try and do none, because you know what will happen, and don't start 6 weeks early. Create some boundaries and some rules, like mine, which I eat my hot cross buns on Good Friday and I eat my Easter egg on Easter Sunday, and that's it. I draw a line under it. It didn't used to be like that. I used to be looking for the children's leftover Easter eggs for the next 3 weeks. They'd have to hide them under their beds and in the cupboards, because while they were at school, I'd hoover up what was left, because they always got given too much. But now I enjoy my hot cross buns on Good Friday. I enjoy my Easter egg on Easter Sunday. We'll have a lovely family meal. And in between that, I have already batch cooked this last weekend a whole lot of soups and chili beans and veggies and a cauliflower mash mince dish. And we'll be having that good, wholesome food in between our treat foods so that we don't get hungry and carried away and we have some balance in there. The other thing I would say to you is plan activity. Try and stay active over the holiday. Plan a family walk or a tramp or an Easter egg hunt. You could do a big Easter egg hunt. Keep moving. Do stuff together that requires movement and connection, as well as all of the lovely food. And remember, we're allowed to celebrate life 15 to 20% of the time with food, and Easter is one of those times. For my Easter egg hunt, I decided instead of, with my kids, I used to get hundreds of Easter eggs, like from Cadbury's cream eggs, those things, to the little tiny ones. I'd have loads of them and I would hide them just everywhere, all over. We had about 18 acres, and I'd hide them in the trees and in all of the shrubs and the bushes and the hen house and everywhere. And we'd have this magic Easter egg hunt. But now I've decided, I've bought my granddaughter the one Easter egg, hollow Easter egg. And then, excuse the plastic, in an ideal world, these would be wooden screw eggs. But what I did was I bought some of these plastic eggs like that. Look, they're quite cute. And I'll probably wrap them in silver foil as well, something similar. And I'm going to put little treats like him. Isn't he cute? And maybe I got some little chicks. Oops, where are we? There. Look. And some tiny little chickadinos. And then I got things that I know that she loves, like these, you know how they all wear Crocs at the moment? She's absolutely loves dinosaurs. So I got some of these dinosaur croc things, and I'm going to put those in some of the eggs. And I'm going to hide those, and of course, some Easter bunny ears. Oh no, that way around. Easter bunny ears. And I'm going to hide those all around this section so that we have the fun. I'll probably have more fun than she will. The fun of looking for things and finding things. I've got some stickers and some activity books and all of that kind of stuff. And we can have the fun and the movement of doing that, running around and doing that, without having to involve half a ton of chocolate, which the kids get sick of and don't eat all of anyway. They don't need to be. And guess, because children, isn't it interesting? Children mainly have an off switch. Even if you give them high calorie, hyperpalatable food, while they're still toddlers, they know when to stop. They very rarely overeat and eat themselves sick. They know when to stop and they walk away. But we lose that ability. So what happens is that the eggs that they don't eat, guess who eats them? Being plant-based, it's much easier now, because if it's got dairy in it, I won't eat it. So that does make it easier. But still, you don't need that stuff knocking around. So plan to do things that don't involve food, that are still fun, that still create great family traditions. Like a walk, like on Christmas Day. That's become one of our family traditions, is we go and we walk. We go and walk on the beach and we do stuff together before we open presents, which is probably actually really painful for the children to have to wait, but they burn off all of that energy and we get to walk off lunch. So anyway, back to Easter. What is your plan for Easter? Will you wing it or prepare ahead? If you'd like more helpful tips on how to avoid what we call at Outlook the Labrador, which is basically it's your primitive brain or your habit brain. It's the brain that thinks there's a famine around the corner. It's a 2 million year old device that is designed to save you from the next famine, and it is not helpful when there's lots of high calorie, hyper palatable food around, because it doesn't know when to say no, and it is not designed to deal with all of that stuff. For most of us, like me, it is the part of the brain that gets us overweight in the first place. Certainly was for me. You know, I was over 90 kilos, so I've lost over 30 kilos. And I did it not by following a diet, although that was useful, knowing what to eat and when to eat, food timing, learning about whole foods and how filling they are and how good they make you feel. So if you've eaten the soups and the casseroles and the beans, the chili beans, you don't have to eat 10 chocolate bars or 10 Easter eggs because you're full and you're satiated. It's great. So learning all of that was really good, but you have to be able to stick to that. And you can't stick to that until you learn to manage your mind. So at Outlook, we call that part of the brain the Labrador, because it reminds me of a Labrador dog, which is totally food driven and eats everything in sight, uncontrollably often for the immediate pleasure of it, doesn't care about the future. That's what our habit brain is like. It doesn't care how you feel tomorrow or in a week's time or in 3 weeks' time. It doesn't care about the future you. It just wants immediate gratification, which means eating everything that is in front of it. That has a high bliss point, which the food manufacturers know and are manipulating you so that you can't stop eating. So that's where switching to a predominantly plant-based whole food diet makes all of the difference. And it does not have to be lentils. You do not have to live in lentils and sandals and have hairy armpits. Oops, am I supposed to say that? I don't know. To survive. You don't have to. You can be normal and you can just gradually shift your way to eating more fruits, more vegetables, more whole grains, more lentils, more beans, more nuts and seeds, and create the future you with those foods that will stand you in good stead, not by eating, like the old Ginny, half a dozen cream eggs in one sitting. Anyway, if you like what you hear and you would like some tips, strategies, tips, recipes, more helpful hints, then please subscribe to my channel here and sign up for my weekly email. I'd love to have you in my world. And as always, I really welcome your comments and critiques and love to know what you would like to hear more of. Have a fabulous Easter, everybody. God bless you. Enjoy your families. And I look forward to seeing you next time.